Well, it says I'm live, so we're going to go with that. Welcome to Talk to Thursday, everyone. I'm not sure who I'm seeing, but if I am not over on Facebook and Instagram, again, I apologize. I was supposed to be, and I thought I was all set up, but I will definitely post this on YouTube, and you will definitely be able to see it over there. I'll make sure to post the link for it. I hope that everyone has had a good week. It has been a pretty good week over this way. It's been a little busy, but that's all good. And I want to come to you, or I am coming to you tonight to talk a little bit about the missing ingredient. Now, I don't know if you're anything like me. Frequently, I go to cook and I'll cook something and I don't necessarily have a recipe for it, and I'll put it all together and taste something, and I'm like, something is missing. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Maybe it's a little more salt, maybe it's a little more pepper, maybe I need to put some onion powder or garlic powder or some kind of Italian seasoning or something. But I'm sure you've had that experience where something just isn't quite right and you can't put your finger on it. Maybe it's not a recipe per se. Sometimes it is, for example, some clothing that you may have purchased and you like it, you like the color, you like the style, and you say something about this just isn't quite right. Or maybe you've had that feeling about someone you've met, huh? A person that you've met and you're like, it's a pretty nice, they seem like a nice person, but something just doesn't quite agree with me. Well, we have that about many things in our lives, don't we? And I often talk to my risers. You know that you are my audience, my people 40 and above who are at an interesting space in life, right? Sometimes, well, it is. It's the middle years. Sometimes it's, decisions that we're making around careers, decisions that we're making around location, relationships, finances, decisions. And we think we have something all straightened out. It looks like our ingredients are all put together well, and then the meal is made, and you say something is missing. That's how you feel about something being missing in your life, something being missing perhaps in your career, missing in what it is that you do on a day to day basis. You're just not feeling as fulfilled as you would like to feel. And trust me, we all feel it at some point in some way as it relates to something. There's always, or there's frequently, a place in our lives where there's some improvement needed and we don't quite know what that improvement is or quite how to go about it. That is the missing ingredient that I'm talking about here this evening. That thing that makes you kind of stop and wonder, what is it that I can do that's going to make things look a little different for me? What is it that I'm going to do to kind of scratch that itch that I can't quite figure where it's coming from or even quite figure exactly where the itch is, but I know it's there? Well, there's some things that you can do that will help you find out what that missing ingredient is. What is it that you're missing that's keeping you from doing or being or having the things that you want in life? There's a process that you can go through to help you to kind of figure some of that out. And we'll just talk about it briefly here tonight. And a lot of what I'm telling you is stuff that we've talked about before, but it doesn't hurt to have just a bit of a reminder, right? Just a bit of a reminder of the things that you can do or that you should do when you're in a stuck space, when you're in a place where you have an ingredient missing and you can't quite figure out what it is. The first thing you want to do is take a personal inventory. Yeah, go ahead. Take a look at things. Sit down. We often talk about the importance of sitting by yourself, having time of reflection where you're just kind of contemplating what went well today, what didn't go well today, what's been going well over the last month, the last few years of my life. What are some things that I really wish that I could change? Could that be what the missing ingredient is that's keeping my meal from being totally prepared to where I want it to be, my life to being totally what I want it to be. Those are the kinds of questions that you sit and you have to ask yourself. Be reflective. What are your joys? What are the things that really, really bring you joy? What are some of the things that you've had regrets about this month, this week, over the years? Those are the things that you need to look at and really do some analysis on and determine, well, where do I go from here? I know that this has happened. I know that this makes me happy. I know that I wish I had done things differently over here. You take a look at all of that, and then you determine how it is you're going to move in relation to how you feel or where those things have put you in life. That will help you to really kind of pinpoint where you are. And again, what just may be missing. Take an inventory, do a thorough inventory, write things down, write things out so that you can understand and see exactly what you're talking about. All right. So, what are some of the more common ingredients that are often missing? All right. What are some of the more common ingredients that we find missing at this stage in our lives? And yeah, there are some common things, and we talk about a lot of them in the discussions that I have with you, whether it be on the podcast, whether it be on things that we talk about here on Thought for Thursday. What are some of the things that are kind of common to you, my riser? Well, the things that, go around or that circle around things like finances, that circle around career, that circle around relationships, that circle around family. It's those kinds of things that are sometimes the link to the missing ingredient that you're trying to find that is going to make life more fulfilling for you. Perhaps it's a career that you're really not fulfilled in, something that you really want to do other than what you're doing right now. That is where you would begin to, of course, through your reflective time, through the time that you've spent alone and doing a recap on all of that, you discover this and then figure out, well, what moves do I need to make so that I can add this ingredient to the pot? What is it that I need to do? What are some of the other things that may be kind of circling around us at this point, a missing ingredient? It could be our health. Our health may not be where we really want it to be. And that has a spiraling effect on us, doesn't it? Not only does it prevent us from being all that we want to be, but it also prevents us from, in many instances, feeling not just, not feeling the way that we want to feel, but it prevents us from doing the things in life that we really want to do if we are not in a healthy spot. That's a common thing that presents problems to us, right? That's something else. What are some other things? And if you're listening, I want you to drop it in the chat. You know just as well as I do some of the more common areas, some of the more pain points, as I like to call them, or the common pain points around where we are right now in our lives. So we sit down, we figure out where we are, we figure out how things are going, how we feel about things in our lives. We jot down those things that are really causing us some discomfort. And then we make a plan for figuring out how it is that we're going to implement, how it is that we're going to start adding those ingredients to our pot, to our recipe, so that we can have the meal that we desire, so that we can have the life that we desire, so that we can move out and do the things that we aspire to do. So then you put in gear the practical steps to adding those missing ingredients to your the meal that you're preparing. It could be something very simple. I always say, don't feel as though you have to do something major in order for it to be progress. Progress can be very small. Your major accomplishment, for example, initially is just the fact that you're sitting down and trying to figure out what's missing. That could be a major accomplishment right there. And then you sit down and you plan what it is you're going to do about that. Are you going to take courses? Are you going to do some research? Are you going to find out whatever details, whatever the technology is, whatever the income source is, whatever it is that's going to touch that thing that you want improvement on? Take a small step and do the research to find out exactly what it is you may have to do to begin to make those changes. Then, once you do the research, start implementing the steps one by one. Like I said, if, for example, the missing ingredient in your life is adding more downtime to your life, start out in the evenings, carving out a little bit of time where you sit and perhaps just spend, a few minutes, yeah, an hour or so, watching a favorite TV show, reading, perhaps starting to write in the journal that is eventually going to be the book you desire to pull together. All right. So take the small steps, practical steps, things that aren't going to make you feel overwhelmed, because if you try to take on too much at once and have that feeling of being overwhelmed, you won't make any progress at all. So take the small steps and make the best of them, and be grateful again that you have actually begun to move in the direction of making some changes in your life, realizing that there are some missing ingredients that you need to identify so that you can go ahead and add them to the mix, so that you can go ahead and prepare things the way that you want them prepared. All right. So that's it. What's that missing ingredient? Don't feel bad. We all have messed up a recipe, or we all have made something and something's been missing. But the wonderful thing about it is sometimes you can taste it and you figure something's not there. It's not too late to go ahead and add whatever that is to make it taste the way that you really want it to taste. So keep that in mind. It is never too late to add to your mixture, to your pot, to your life, the thing that you feel is missing from it. You go ahead and pursue that thing, pursue the answers, and then implement things step by step, little by little, so that you are not overwhelmed in the process. That's all I have for you tonight. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I am going to go ahead and load this up on YouTube and make sure that I put the link over on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram. But listen, you guys go out. If you feel like there's something that's not quite right and you can't put your finger on it, you know that there's a missing ingredient, sit down and do the work that's necessary to identify what that missing ingredient is, and then do what's necessary to get that ingredient added to your recipe. All right? Go out, make a difference. Know that you're unique. You're enough just as you are. And just as you are the answer that someone needs. Go out, make a difference for yourself and for someone else. Make sure that you go into the weekend resting up and restoring and rejuvenating. Don't discount the importance of self-care. Self-care is the key to a productive life, to a thriving life, to a life that bursts at the seams with excitement. Because a healthy person is a person who is ready and willing to do great things. They have the mindset that's necessary to make a difference in their lives. All right? Have a great one, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.